1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. All right, that's called falling apart at the end. That's all right. Hey, if you're not falling apart at the end, you're not getting a workout. Those last few are very, very tough at that tempo. I know it's not as fast as we've ever gone. We've gone a little faster than that, but sometimes bringing that tempo back, just 5 clicks, and really concentrating on your form, really gets you a good workout. Really makes those muscles scream in the right places. And remember, the goal is to hold it, develop those muscles, push it, push it, push it. Really try to get all this stuff conditioned. You know, you got tons of little things moving up and down in here that you got to work out. These muscles don't get worked out in any other way than by doing these kind of things with your fingers. So you got to sit there and find that and work it out. And when you're done, I mean, forget it. Your fingers and hands will feel great. It's a really, really nice feeling. In fact, that's actually a good stretch and a good exercise to do, where you start in your German grip and you move it into the French grip. Because it brings you back and forth between the finger gear and then the transition to the wrist gear. And of course this twisting type of gear also. That's another thing that you're working on. Let's go ahead and stretch this out. The heck was that? Go the other way. Get a stretch. Make you feel good. Let's go down the middle. Same thing. Okay, now we could talk about some of these triplets on the drum set. I'd actually like to show you today how this works if you actually try it on the drum set. So if you want to actually take these exercises and move it to your kit, not something I really do too much in our practice sessions. It's something I do more along the lines in my own personal practice once I've warmed up on the kit or once I'm warmed up on the pad, get myself ready to go into the kit. You could expand on this a little bit more and now stretch out the muscle groups that also control your shoulders. Because the idea now is to isolate your forearms and wrists to the point where they're moving and cranking. Then you got to work on moving, getting to all your different positions. So actually another area of endurance that you could start pushing on when you start doing these stick control exercises. And you could apply that directly to the kit. So I'm going to show you some ways that we can do that right now. So let's switch it over. And let's first talk about what we're going to do. So I'm going to take let's just take number 1 and number 2 exercise. Now number 1 was just right, left, and the triplets. Right, left, and triplets. Number 2 was left, and the triplets, and went back and forth that way. So what I want to do first is do right, left, and then go across the toms. Okay? So right, left, then I'm going to accent our toms. Then I'm going to do the same thing with number 2, left, right, then accent the toms back and forth. Not going to do it for a full minute, but I'm just going to do it just to show you what the vibe is. And if I was going to do it at this tempo, just to give you a sense of it, here's our click. And then I'm going to count us in. 1. Okay, so you notice how I did that. I played around this way, and it makes me go back and forth with my accent across the toms. Now, another way you could do is actually to use the toms and actually spread around the drums. So let's try it that way, where I'm actually going to graduate around my toms. So I'm going to start, just for the sticking, very quietly. I'm going to show you it's right, left on the snare drum. And then I'm going to go 1 triplet and triplet across my toms. Like that. And I'm going to move in that pattern. Probably going to do that. So I'll end on the floor tom. That way I don't have to cross back over to the snare. Especially when you're going fast. That's a good way to do it. That's going to be my sticking. Let's work out your tempo. And again, I'm going to count you in. 1, 2. Good. So now if you notice I did it that way, and it adds another kind of stretch. So in addition to doing the same thing, now I'm doing it from this whole around thing versus the back and forth with accents. And you could sit here and do this all day. You could work out all different versions of sticking to apply the stick control around the kit. Makes it a really, really nice workout. Let's do the same thing with number 2, starting with the left hand. And this is weird because it's starting with left hand, and you're going to come up to the tom rack first as opposed to the floor tom. So the sticking is going to be left, right, left, right. And you're going to get that. All right, so let's give that a shot. Here's the tempo. Again, 130. This is the advanced speed. 1, 2. Good, that way was better. That's it. So going lefty, really, really tough. It's a real different thing. It's a real different challenge. Now, if you're doing the same thing lefty going the other way, now we're actually really going crazy. Okay, and I'm not even sure if I'll be able to do it at that speed. But basically, instead of starting on the snare drum, I'm going to have to start on the floor tom. And go that way. Now, I hope that might have been real loud because I'm playing it on the kit. But, you see the vibe in that? So let's slow that down a little bit. Try it at 120. You got that speed? So 1, 2, ready. Okay, so there we go, doing the same thing in that lefty lead, coming around the kit backwards. You're starting on the floor, coming back around to the snare. Very, very cool thing to do, and something that you really got to work on and practice, especially if you're not used to pushing around that lefty. Now, I even brought the tempo down 10 clicks to 120, going lefty around this way. Now, if I sit there and work on it, I could probably work it up, but it's such an uncommon thing to do, but it's such a great workout because it really does switch your brain back the other way. Okay, so that's some examples of how you could use these things and move them around the kit. And it should be kind of self-explanatory as far as how that feels going around the drums, because that's something we do all the time inside of our music. If we get good at these little stickings that kind of take us in these sprints around the kit, these are licks that we can use all the time. All right, so you see it inside playing, you know, inside everyone's playing, essentially. You see them all going through these kind of things, either going back and forth or around. So let me just do one more thing where I'm actually going to play some time and then solo and utilize those triplets in both those ways that are just very common. Okay, let's give it a shot. Okay, good. So you see how coming around with the triplets, it's like you want to have all that together. So no matter which way you come around, it starts feeling good and you can get through with that. Now, the challenge with something like that is I'm trying to think of it more from the technique standpoint where I'm like, okay, triplets. Let's make sure we're doing all triplets. And it ends up sacrificing your musicality a little bit because you're thinking about the technique. So the goal eventually with practicing this is to not think so much and then just play. And if that happens, if the triplets, if you have that feeling and it comes out of you, it comes out of you, and it's fine. But the more you think about technique, the faster your brain runs, and the more it's going to tighten you up as you're trying to play. So I hope that kind of clarifies the reasoning for practicing these kind of sprints and why you want to push the speed and why you want to make this stuff feel good. And that pretty much works us out. So that concludes our week of practice. It was a really great week. Thank you guys for joining me. I hope you're really sticking with it. And I'm looking forward to seeing your results and seeing how everyone is doing with their hands. And please let me know. Please get in touch with us. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know how your hands are doing. We are going to start with the 2.0 version of video response system. We're still working on it right now, trying to figure out the logistics of it. But in the meantime, if you want to, say, record a YouTube video of you doing some of these exercises and sending it up to us, I'd be happy to take a look at it for you, happy to take a look and see how you're doing. And yeah, give you a little critique and see what's happening with those hands. So we look forward to doing that, and we want to be interactive with you. So please send us your stuff. Let us know how you're doing with everything. And that pretty much wraps us up. Anyone that has any questions, as always, we make ourselves available. So utilize that stuff and have a great weekend. We'll see you guys back on Monday for another week. And remember to practice with purpose.